On this board, we're talking about FHA loans. What are FHA loans? FHA loans are mortgage loans that are insured by the Federal Housing Administration, FHA, and issued by FHA-approved lenders. FHA is part of HUD. What is HUD? HUD is the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. What are some general guidelines regarding FHA loans? So I have 11 general guidelines. Now, keep in mind, though, that these are just general guidelines. Of course, there are a lot of exceptions to certain rules, but these 11 general guidelines are just general guidelines regarding FHA loans. Number one, for purchases, the property must be what? What must the property be to qualify to, for a FHA loan? All right, for purchases, to qualify for an FHA loan, the property must be an owner-occupied 1 to 4 unit residence. Number two, regarding credit scores, what are the credit scores that are that apply regarding FHA loans? All right, so here they are. Regarding credit scores, if the borrower has a minimum of 580 credit score, then their required down payment is at least 3.5%, right? They can get a 3.5% required down payment. If the borrower's credit score is between 500 and 579, then their required minimum down payment is 10%. And if the borrower has a credit score that is below 500, then they're not even eligible to get a FHA loan. Now, I'm just talking in general, right? These are just general guidelines. Number three, it is okay for the down payment to come from gift funds, which is a very unique feature of FHA loans, right? Because all of the other types of loans, they don't allow the down payment to come from a gift fund, right? So under FHA loans, it is okay for the down payment to come from gift funds. Now, number four, seller concessions are limited to what? What is the limit regarding seller concessions regarding a FHA loan? Regarding FHA loans, seller concessions are limited to 6% of the sales price or appraisal value, whichever is lower. Number five, mortgage payments are due when? When are mortgage payments due regarding FHA loans? Regarding FHA loans in general, mortgage payments are due on the 1st of each month. And they are considered late when? Mortgage payments are considered late after the 15th of the month. And the maximum late charge is 4% of the principal and interest. Number six, the maximum allowable term regarding a FHA loan is 30 years. Maximum allowable term is 30 years. Number seven, the borrower must occupy the property within 60 days after closing and plan to stay for at least 1 year. Number eight, the loan is assumable. What does that mean? A loan being assumable. It means that a new buyer can take over the mortgage payments of the existing mortgage holder, right? That's what it means to be that is what it means for a loan to be assumable, right? So FHA loans are assumable. Now, of course, they are assumable, but subject to the approval of the loan servicer and HUD credit guidelines. Now, as a side note, the process of releasing the original borrower and substituting the new mortgagor is known as novation. That process is known as novation. Number nine, regarding in general, there is an anti-flip policy regarding FHA loans. What is what is the anti-flip policy regarding FHA loans? Well, part of it is that a borrower cannot purchase a home from a seller that recently bought the property within the past 90 days, because any sales during that time frame, any sales during that 90-day time frame is considered to be a flip, right? And FHA loans in general have a anti-flip policy. Number 10, no prepayment penalties, right? Regarding FHA loans, there are no prepayment penalties. And number 11, regarding FHA loans, there are 2 types of mortgage insurance that is required. What are the 2 types of mortgage insurance that is required on FHA loans? Well, number 1, upfront MIP, and number 2, monthly MIP. What does MIP stand for? MIP is mortgage insurance premium, right? And on FHA loans, there's an upfront MIP and a monthly MIP. Now, as a side note, this upfront MIP, that upfront MIP can be either paid at the closing or it can be financed into the loan. What are the general qualifying ratios regarding FHA loans? Well, we have the front end ratio and the back end ratio. Now, regarding FHA loans, what is the maximum front end ratio? The maximum front end ratio regarding FHA loans is 31%. And regarding back end ratio, what's the maximum back end ratio regarding FHA loans? The maximum back end ratio regarding FHA loans is 43%. Now, how are these ratios calculated? Well, the front end ratio is calculated like this. You take the total housing expenses, right? And what's another way to describe the total housing expenses? Well, you can describe it as the PITI. And what does PITI stand for? PITI stands for principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. All right. So you take the PITI, right, which is the total housing expenses, you divide it by the gross monthly income, and you multiply it by 100, and that gives you the front end ratio. Now, also, so the maximum front end ratio is 31%. Now, the maximum back end ratio is 43%. And here's how we calculate the back end ratio. We take the total monthly debts and we divide it by the gross monthly income, and we multiply that by 100, and that gives us the back end ratio. Now, keep in mind, this was just an overview of FHA loans, right? And FHA loans are mortgage loans that are insured by the Federal Housing Administration and issued by FHA approved lenders. FHA is part of HUD, right? The Department of Housing and Urban Development. These are just general guidelines, but for those of you that are studying to become mortgage loan originators, those of you that are studying for the exam, just like I'm studying for the exam, I highly recommend that you check out the Affinity exam prep course, because you need like a lot of details. Like you need to really go deep into this material, and that Affinity exam prep course is the best I've seen. All right, I'm in it. I truly love it, and I highly recommend it. All right. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the chat box below, and I'll see you next time on the next video.